for Nevada. Now, I don't know if he got Nevada or not. I don't know who got Nevada. But I do know one thing, that it really does explain the votes taking so long to see who won. One, let's talk about the issue. Every vote matters. Every vote counts. And I was disappointed, with Trump getting on the air last night saying that, the polls need to be closed at a certain time. But it was comedy relief that he spelled polls, Polles. I'm about to die. Did you all see that?
That is a president, man.
Did you all see that last night?
I missed that one.
Okay, so yes, and so, but the thing of it is that every vote in America, every vote matters, and we don't need, the president saying that we need to cut off votes at a certain time. Already, I don't know if you all are aware, but we have heard things about there possibly being riots and rebellion, depending on how this race, the outcome of the race. And I know that a lot of the stores, namely Walmart, here in the city, are going to be boarding up windows and things like that. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Stop selling guns. Some of them stop selling guns.
Yeah, you hate to see loss of civility because the elections are what they are. Your party wins, so you play by your party rules. But it just seems like that we are in a win at all costs mentality, and we've kind of lost our civility. And that's one of the things, when you talk about homeland security threats, if you have such an unstable climate in the United States, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing for normal day-to-day operations, and it's not a good thing when you're talking about, homeland security issues. And I'm just hoping at some point that somebody's going to step in and at least get us back to a point of civility, because that's the only way we're going to be able to survive. They're going to be Republicans and Democrats and independents forever. But the key that made our democracy so special was, number one, a smooth transition of power, and
that's right,
at least some atmosphere of civility. And from all the things that I'm seeing on television and reading in the newspapers and so forth, it looks like we may be on the verge of even losing that piece of our great democracy, and that's civility.
Exactly. It's very disappointing, and I think just like everybody else, just like many other people, I'm disappointed in the climate of what America looks like now and how we deal with things. I like everybody else. I want to see what this end result is going to be. But at the same time, a lot of people that have good common sense, we're not trying to go riot and breaking in stores and trying to commit violence if it don't work out the way we want it to work out. And I really hated last night that that was what was projected. And specifically, I hate this specifically by Trump. He got up there and kind of created this.
Right.
It's no different. There's been some scare tactics, and then he was all alone. But I just thought, here we are right now during election. Can we at least play clean right now? Can we at least get it together right now? The main thing is get all the votes in. And if you're out of the house, you get out of the house. If you're in the house, you stay in the house. If you're not, get out. But let's not create this sense of panic in the nation, because right now, you are being a bully, and it's not right. It's irritating. And I want to know why did Kanye, who voted? Did they pin Kanye in? What happened? What is up with Kanye?
And a correction on the number, it was 60,000 votes that he received. And he is, right, creating some type of panic. Like, people are starting to want to go out and buy more toilet paper, poured all the water, So it's a lot going on in this last couple of days.
And we go back to the toilet paper again.
Right. The toilet paper again.
That's the first thing that seems to go. But again,
there's a lot of going on.
Exactly. But to your point, Simi, it is disheartening. It's frightening. It's frustrating. It's all the above, because the one thing that you could always count on, regardless of the outcome, that people eventually, now you might grumble and go to the bar and talk trash and so forth, but you knew eventually people would settle into a routine and get about their business. And
That's right.
And regardless whether Biden wins or whether Trump wins, you can't have people out here doing that kind of stuff. You can't have Biden folks pissed off riding around bashing out windows. You can't have Trump people out here riding around bashing out windows. And I think the responsible heads need to step up and say, regardless of the outcome, this kind of nonsense is unacceptable. And so far we haven't seen that. That's the real test of leadership.
If our president is supposed to be our leader, who do we look to after that? Like, if he's not stepping up, who will be the next person to step up and say, this is what we should do, this is how it should be? Like, where do we go from there?
The governors need to start stepping up. Somebody in the state, this is, unfortunately, the way things are being handled right now from the top, we cannot depend on the government officials that's in Washington. We need the ones on the state level to say, this is what this state is doing. This is what we're not going to tolerate. We need everybody to behave appropriately, no matter what this outcome. We're not doing these riots. We're not going to be going around, I don't want to say this, going around killing black people. We're not going to do this. And somebody needs to lead on the state level, because it's not fair that the people in America are walking on eggshells because we don't know the outcome of the election. I had a neighbor yesterday, beautiful woman, single woman. She has about 5 kids, work 2 jobs, everything. She said, Sammy, I want to tell you something. I said, what? She said, now, some of our neighbors got different stuff in their front yard. I said, yeah, I've seen that. No worries. She said, well, I go to a very big church and the pastor instructed us. I go to a very large church, a virtual church right now, and it's a mixed congregation. She said, but our pastor instructed us to stay in the house until after Saturday.
Yeah.
And not open up the door for anything. And that's what kind of climate that we have right now in America during elections. This has never happened before. It has never been this radical. It has never been this violent, and America has never been this fragile. And I think that speaks volumes to what's going on right now.
It does.
Agreed.
It does. On top of the pandemic, on top of everything else we went through in 2020, this is a lot. This election is a lot. I have someone chiming in from Facebook. She said basically the election should have never been this close. She said she feel like it should be hands down. I'm not sure if she's going with Biden or Trump, but I'm believing it's Biden. I'm hoping.
Yeah, and the fact that it was that close just speaks to the point of people don't want to talk about it, but the race element is big. I mean, what in the hell did Trump really do himself? I mean, what has he spoken for? The only time he's spoken, this dude has managed to command the media waves more than any other president than I've ever, in my mindset. And he was on the news every day for 4 years, just about with something ridiculous. Almost every day he was tweeting something, or he spent so much time tweeting he couldn't be doing anything diplomatic or anything presidential. He's too busy tweeting, and it got to the point where it wasn't so much that he was doing anything for folks who's a lot of the poor whites who support him, hands down, have more in common with black folk than they do Donald Trump. But they support Donald Trump not because of anything he does for them, but really because of what he says about us.
Right.
Or what he says about minorities.
Or any other race, right.
Yeah, because he says the stuff they want to say, but they don't want to get punched in the face. So they won't say it. So he says it, and they're like, yeah, but they say yeah with their vote. They're not going to say yeah in front of you and me. But some of them have now. Some of them are, pulling it out. They feel that emboldened because at the top, you've got that going on. You got police getting away with shooting folks of color. You got all of this stuff happening. You got him saying they're very fine people on both sides. Just look through his presidency, what he's said and what he's done. He's certainly elevated the race thing, and not in a way that you would want a president to do it, to elevate it in such a way to de-escalate it and bring it down. But he's elevated to like, yeah, we're going to have a civil war. This is going to be a new civil war.
Right.
We got Walmart shutting down, and
you have people boarding up their properties. I mean, the stores, they're selling out on guns, bullets. They're like getting ready.
The trucks riding, the pickup trucks riding. Was it me? Or what it like? It just seemed like there was more pickup trucks riding around yesterday.
But did you see the pickup trucks that was like surrounding Biden's bus?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the climate. That's what it's been the whole time. You never see anything like that under any other president. And if you did, the president would say, "Hey, I don't condone that. Cut that stuff." This dude says, "Oh, they were just escorting them out of town." Man, don't play that. don't play like that. And now, where's he been today? Haven't seen his face. Now he's quiet. He's lawyering up. Chief, what's he doing, Chief?
Well, the one thing that I think,
don't be so quiet. Make me think you voted for that man. Don't be so quiet out there.
No,
say something.
I'm just listening to your comments, but one of the things that I will say is this can't continue, but for so long. There's going to be a breaking point at some point in time where people have just had enough. And again, it doesn't need to come to that. I keep hoping at some point that some adults are going to enter the room and start to, like you said, start de-escalating things. I think everyone, and particularly you, Thembad, you've been in politics before, and the whole drill with, the whole campaigning process and raising money and winning and losing, all that stuff. That comes with the territory. And when you win, you come in, you play by your rules as long as you're ethical and legal and all that stuff. And if the other party wins, they come in, they play by their rules and so forth. But I think when we're at a point where people are being told they need to stay home, and you have stores boarding up in anticipation of some issues, that's not a good look. And the sad thing with that, and I don't care what anybody says about this, nobody wins in that kind of environment. Now I know it seems cool. I can ride around and yell things, and I can yell around and yell Biden. I can run around and yell Trump and do all kinds of crazy things. But at the end of the day, nobody wins. When people are afraid to go out, that's not a good thing. When stores are closing early or thinking about closing early and boarding up, that's not a good thing. When you have, like Simi was saying, pastors saying, stay home until, the year 2040, that's not a good thing. And so I'm just wondering how long it will be before someone actually steps up and says enough of this. Because this really has the potential to get really, really crazy. I mean, so think about this, Thembad. So in the middle of a pandemic, you also have other kinds of foolishness going on, and we just don't need that. You know what I mean? It's amazing, and I told you I've been deliberately not checking the newspapers. I said, because it's almost like day trading. You turn to one channel, oh, this guy's up by 50. You turn to another channel, no, he's down by 40. So you're getting different information from different sources. Like I told you, I had a text earlier today that said, Biden had won Arizona, and you're hearing all types of different things, and whatever the information is, you want it to be accurate, whatever it is. And like I said, most importantly, you hope that whatever the outcome is, that tomorrow morning we can at least all have a certain degree of civility, that we can, continue to do what we do on a daily basis.
I tell you what, I agree with that 100%. And yesterday, last night, I was trying to stay up and watch the